get it started now. Freedom, 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 freedom. My freedom begins at Life Force Canada.
Welcome everyone to Life Force Canada. I'm Karen and together we rise. Yay. Again, the chat's open, so please say hello. So much is happening right now. So let's just take a moment to breathe in that Life Force energy. So before we move into our awesome topic today, I want to just take a moment and thank all of the provincial plan councils who have sent in their reports regarding the progress that they're making. Exceptional work, everyone. And I know everyone has taken on these incredible tasks, putting countless hours in, creating solutions, doing the work, and everyone is volunteering. So yes, this is the contributionism model we've been talking about. And the amazing thing is when we give with an open heart, we receive in many other ways. Source, universal intelligence, sees everything, and the act of giving to serve others uplifts us and everyone else around us. And then we receive tenfold. So abundant blessings to all of you who are doing the work. You are incredible, and you're here assisting everyone to be free, every man, woman, and child in this country. So thank you, everyone, for all you're doing. Okay, so our agenda tonight is to make you smile, because we're going to be talking about good news stories. And nothing alleviates stress or fear better than a good, positive story. And then we're going to have a Q&A. And at the end, of course, we're going to have a meditation. Now, for those of you who are new here, we are not against the government. We know that we do not need a provincial government, federal government. We do not need an outer authority that is higher than who we are as a living man or woman. You are the authority. So we're creating a self-governance model. And I recommend that you join your provincial plan council. I trust that you'll receive the website links in the chat this evening. And if you have yet to be on those weekly calls, I highly recommend you do, because that is where you're going to be learning so much. And you can just listen in, and then you find out, you know, where is it that you can step into? What skills do you have? And if being on a council does not empower you in any way, then you're welcome to join the think tanks as well. We have several different think tanks during the week, and I recommend you join and discover where your passion and purpose is, because we need you. We are here to do this together. And all these systems that we're in right now are crumbling. Okay. Well, it's important to stay informed during this time of transition. Doing so can lead to hours, right, spent scrolling. How many of you have been scrolling through the heaps of negative updates about the rising number of jab injuries, death tolls, destruction happening across this earth plane, right? We want to be well informed, but it is taking a toll on our well-being. I do not have cable, thankfully, so I do not watch the news. However, I know that many do. You're exposed to news everywhere these days, right? Television, radio, online, through social media, some of which, of course, is fake news. Well, majority is fake news. And our attention span is narrowing. And our mind is all over the place. So many of you know that disaster news, right, is the #1 category in the news interest index. Bad news, conflict news is in high demand, and it's featured more because it is so profitable. Yes, there has been studies that have proven that exposure to bad news causes anxiety, mood disorders, and the more we become addicted to it, the more addictions to other substances, right? Drugs, food, alcohol, etc. They are layered upon it to help us cope with reality. And we are also bombarded, as I mentioned, with so much fake news. And we all know they hire the actors for the commercials, they hire the actors for the movies, the television shows. And so why would they not hire actors for the news, right? We are catching on. Can't fool those who are awakened, right? So we all know bad news is not good for us. So why are we attracted to it? Because we've been programmed for decades, right? We grew up with it. And the controllers of this reality want our thinking to be disrupted, to be distracted, and engaged in something other than what we're supposed to be doing, so that we do not remember our power. And for those of you who know Dr. Bruce Lipton, right, he's explained, he had an interview on London Real, and he explained there that the Matrix movie, right, is a documentary, we've all heard this before, and how our human brain is highly programmable in the first 7 years of life, and how our subconscious mind is the key to programming. 95% of our life comes from those programs in the subconscious, and only about 5% of our life comes through the conscious mind, which is that creative element. So we're being called now to let go of everything that they are attempting to distract us with and turn our attention to being creators. And your creative capacity that you have is so magnificent. And we so need your creativity in our plan councils. Whether you're joining the provincial council, whether you are thinking of creating a town council, it is all about us co-creating our future together. So this is why we need some good news, right? Positive news more than ever. Our brain ends up working overtime when we watch anything that creates fear. And you are releasing cortisol, which keeps your body in a state of stress, which then causes anxiety and exhaustion. So positive news is known to increase your good mood hormones. And it even strengthens your faith in humanity and your trust in your relationships. So it's time for that feel good energy, right? So before I open it up to everyone, I'm just going to share a short video with you. You most likely have already seen it, but it is a feel good video. It's only 11 minutes, and it just reminds you again of your potential.
One of the caveats that I do have some personal information that I did get personally involved in was some information that had to do with Stargates and Looking Glass, and more specifically the 2012 problem with those projects. The popular opinion of what's out there right now is that the project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. I've heard it described a number of ways, but to my knowledge, the problem is that the timelines converge on that point in time. And when you know enough about the Stargate projects and the Looking Glass project to know how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works, and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass, because they would use Looking Glass knowing the choices that they would make and the future would pop up. The big mistake was coming up with possibility of future. And when we started using a computer to say, well, if we make this choice, it's 79% possible that this scenario happens, 23% are possible or whatever, round numbers, that this scenario would happen. The understanding at the time was that was realistic. However, if you go down the road further and free will continues to exercise itself on this game, that 79% possibility sometimes changes very, very fast. But if you look at the situation in a point of time, it seems very realistic that that's the greatest possibility. What happened was people, very smart people, began to figure out that something big was coming up. Something that made it so all the possibilities of all the future scenarios of any choice, any possibility that was fed in and observed through the Looking Glass inherently ended up in the same future. And no decision, no possibility changed past a certain point. That's the big secret. All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future. That is what sends everybody that has all of the information, that knows everything, into a blind panic. The people that know everything about Looking Glass, that have gotten all the reports and all the information, the elites of the world, probably figured out that that was the end of the game. Nothing could be manipulated beyond that point. When I was in the military, it would have been before 97 when I got in trouble. One of my particular areas that I was amazingly intuitive about is problem solving / mission planning, or more specifically, taking a bad mission and fixing it. Certainly knowing how string theory and possible futures works makes it so you can work your mind very quickly to see the reality of what's happening and decide what decisions need to be made to change it for a particular outcome. At a certain point, after they're done hearing the computer tell them, this is what's going to happen over and over and over and over again, all they become focused on is, how do we fix it? What I do know is that I was called in and asked to solve this problem, this timeline contraction problem. And I eventually did my due diligence and did all the investigating, and basically only had one piece of information, and that was reinforcement. The computer's right. The timelines will contract down to some inevitable thing. There is an inevitable event. It's been forecast, it's been predicted, it's been fed to us in a slop trough of what they want us to believe will happen. They don't actually have control over what happens. They only have control over the reaction And it seems that no matter what they tried to do to cause their desired reaction, it's going to have an opposite effect. Much, much easier for me to explain today what that process is as opposed to back then. If I had to give it a name, I would say it's the awakening process. It's an evolution of consciousness that cannot, will not, and no matter what decisions or possibilities are injected into the equation, eventually it all resolves down to us all learning the truth and becoming aware of this massive dam of lies that has been built that keep us from knowing massive volume of information we should otherwise possess. Essentially what happened with Looking Glass, not only did they not want people to use it anymore because they knew it was just going to burp out the same thing, but at the same time, they didn't want anybody else to know what it was saying. Sure.
Troll in
Because that
essence.
information was a monumental concern when I was in the military about how to prevent this inevitability. Now, at first, I thought it was end of the world. Now I see end of the world as end of their world. The biggest cherry on top of all this conversation would be a synopsis to say that if I could convince everybody out there that for all intents and purposes, what we believe to be true eventually becomes true. If somebody convinces us that a major disaster is going to happen in the very near future, a major disaster happens in the very near future. If we don't buy into that fear and accept that there's really nothing that we know is going to happen, and accept of whatever happens, that makes the convergence of the timelines happen as naturally as possible. Any attempts to try to go away from this one inevitable conclusion, I again see as a new beginning, an end of this reality, the beginning of something that we can't even possibly understand based on the level of our beliefs currently. But when all that information comes flooding out, there's going to be no denying what's true and what's a lie or what's illusion. Basically, what we're experiencing right now is two master chess players sitting at the board. And one of them looks down at the board and sees that he's in checkmate in 7 moves. And he looks across at his opponent and he knows that his opponent sees it too. So there's no getting out of it. So at this point, the loser can only prolong the game. Both players know the game is over. It's only a matter of time before he does this, and then you're forced to do this, and then he's forced to do this, and eventually checkmate. We, as a race, if we can understand that the game is over, that based on the rules of the game, the bad guys have already lost, the good guys have already won. Yes, there's moves left on the table, but those moves are being forced by the player that is going to win. The only way that checkmate can't happen is if the player that's winning makes a mistake. But from all of the information that I've gathered, all of the information that's been given, all of the information that's been vetted to me, it seems pretty obvious that the good guy player on the side of the chessboard knows exactly what has to be done to win the game. And so at this point, any mistake would be all but impossible. But again, you really have to understand the game to know that the guy that's losing is lost. And I'm sure most people sitting watching a chess match between two advanced chess players know the game's over long after the two players know it's over. Because they can't see the board and see that there's only 7 moves left.
Are you enjoying the chess game we're in? Okay, everyone. I want you to share your stories with us, your positive news, and I would love for you to click onto the reactions button and raise your hand. Let me just change over to gallery here. And I know Steve has an awesome story. Before you share, Steve, I just want to share that thank you, Bettina, for reminding me about that video. I've been meaning to showcase it for a while now. So thank you. Steve, go ahead.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
So I was on that's a great video. I watched that one a few months back. I was on the media think tank call on Saturday, and we had a lot of interest in TikTok. And the reason being, probably we've only had the TikTok account for Lifeforce Canada for maybe 2.5 weeks, and we've got 1,700 followers. And I just posted another video like literally 4 hours ago, and it's already got like 6,800 views. And so what we started doing is, so we've got some videos, like I'm just scrolling quickly. We've got some videos that have 15,000 views, 25,000 views. One with Doris, 25,000 views. She's from Lawyers for Truth. Another one with 62,000 views. So, and if for those of you who don't know anything about TikTok, there's about 3.5 million Canadians on TikTok, which is, it's less than 10%. But out of that 3.5 million, there's probably, I would say half of them are between 13 and 21 years old, if I had to guess. And then the other half are 21 and up. So there's definitely a younger audience, and there's definitely parents of that younger audience. And there are lots of comments, and there's a lot of awake people because they're commenting on our videos. And if you read through the comments, some of them have 100 comments, 150 comments. They're awake people. So there's a lot of people that are awake. I think there's probably more people awake than we think. And that's just based on what I'm seeing on TikTok. So when we talked about the media tank on Saturday was, I needed help for someone to do comment moderating. I'm publishing the content, and then another person goes in and then moderates the comments. There's some trolls and stuff, and there's some people who just like are not adding the conversation. We delete those, but then there's people who are questioning it, and that brings awareness, and we kind of go in and answer it. So I'm paired up with Steve. What's Steve's last name? I can't remember now. But anyways, the reason what I wanted to bring up was that when we did our media think tank on Saturday, we were talking about getting other TikTok accounts for the other councils in other provinces. So I had someone from, I got her email right here. I had Karen Hanna from LFC Media reach out to me, said she wanted to assist in some way. So I was just like, hey, Karen, hey, you know what? You can become a publisher. Take the video content I have available in Dropbox. You can publish it. And I'm putting training together for people on TikTok on how to do this. So it's like, the way it works is you pair up with someone who's a publisher. You got no experience. You have no idea how to use TikTok. As long as you want to help people and you want to expand awareness and share the good news, then that's all we're about, and share the truth. So if there's people that want to do that, we're looking for pairing. So it's sort of like you got a publisher. Those are the people who post the videos on TikTok. Like I said, I'm going to put training videos together on how to do that. And then there's a moderator. A moderator like goes in twice a day, moderates the comments. Commitment is like maybe 2-3 hours a week per person, and you're making a difference. So yeah, you can email me I'll put my email in the chat, but you can email me there, and then we can get you set up. I'm still going to put some training together, and then we can get one for every province, and then one for if there's town councils that get set up. See, the thing is where this really takes off is like we're doing it with one account now, and I put the hashtags in each video, like something like Canada Freedom or Canada sovereignty or whatever, but it's all geared to the national level tags. But if we had the same tag for like Ontario Freedom or New Brunswick Freedom, that's going to hit another bunch of people who are following those tags, which is a new audience. So you can see how like we can hit a lot more people if we have more accounts. So anyways, still fairly new, like I said, just two and a half weeks in, but we're getting a lot of traction with it. And yeah, I'm looking for people who want to make a difference and help. And I know there's a lot of you on here. So anyways, I'll put my email in the chat, and yeah, reach out if you're interested.
And Steve is the one that inspires our call tonight in regards to sharing good news. So thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Steve, for everything you're doing with TikTok. It's very exciting because we've been wanting to attract the younger generation for quite a while. So thank you again. And yes, if there's anyone here that wants to assist Steve, please send an email to him. And we would so appreciate it. And thank you, Karen Hanna. Norma.
Okay, so amidst like many messages that I've received from friends and people that I know through Facebook groups and stuff, you know, asking me for advice about where can they turn because a friend has lost a job or whatever. There has been some really good news as well. And one of it is here I am in Calgary, despite, you know, flight restrictions and massive flooding and road washouts and everything, still made it to Calgary for a visit. So that's good. My older sister, who has been in resistance to all this up until like September, is finally waking up. And that's excellent news, because maybe she won't continue on the vaccine program. And also, I'm the facilitator of the education think tank, and I've just noticed like the last couple of weeks have just been so wonderful with networking. I was asked to do a presentation for a small group for Action for Canada, and I did that a couple of weeks ago. And we had so much fun. I met so many neat people that I just found out that I'm invited back to do another presentation with an audience of more like 250 people. So that's, you know, really going to get our word out, because those 250 people are just for Maple Ridge, BC. So they know other people in Action for Canada. And, you know, I've just been networking with other amazing educators across our country, and just these opportunities keep popping up. And even on Saturday evening, I met somebody who's introducing me to someone who's got a group of 2,000 people that are looking towards setting up a new education system in Canada. So, you know, that just fits in really well with what we're doing. And it just kind of reminds me of the power of one, you know, like when I first started facilitating this think tank, I never thought I'd be addressing 250 people for Action for Canada. That's and awesome. Talking about education and what we need to do. So, you know, for everybody out there, we can all make a difference. And I really encourage you, if you have any interest in education and the future of our kids, join us on Thursday nights. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, Norma Jean, for everything you're doing. Yay, that's exciting. And
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Happy Monday to you. Yeah, a couple of things in regards to good news. Obviously, my girl Norma Jean is here, and I'm excited to be able to spend some time with her. And she was able to get out in spite of all the difficulties and challenges. But the second piece was we had an opportunity to go to the rally, the worldwide rally here in Calgary on Saturday. And despite the fact that it was incredibly cold, there was about 5,000 people showed up, and even more by the time the walk happened. But it was also interesting listening to Chris Sky, because he mirrored a lot of what was in this video that we just watched. And it was really the first time that we got to hear Chris Sky with a different energy. A lot of times he can come on stage and be very polarizing, and he's just, you know, guns blazing. This time he was very centered, and he seemed to be very calm in his words and his approach, in the fact that he said, we have won already. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that, even though the optics look really challenging at times, and we can get really myopic on what they look like. But just as this video says, I mean, we're seeing things 7 steps ahead of what's really going on. And the rest of the world is still very much asleep as to what's going on. But here at Lifeforce Canada, we get it. We just have to maintain our frame, stay centered, and trust that what we're doing is incredibly meaningful, not only to ourselves, but what we are doing to launch a new reality in not only Canada, but around the world. So it's really listening to those pieces that are turning in regards to positivity. And this video is perfectly timed. And I really resonated with, we were just talking about how great that video is and for this time.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
With that, I yield.
Thank you, both of you. And I just want to share that Norma Jean, your sister waking up, I think that piece is so important for people to hear, because a lot of people do not believe that that is even possible. Right. So it's just it's knowing that even though maybe people are getting vaccinated out there, everyone, that whether it's family, friends, you may receive that phone call that says, you know what, I get it. I finally get what you've been talking about this past year or so. I'm finally understanding what you mean. Because it is happening. A lot of people are really waking up, and so we need to be here to support them. So thank you. Okay, Lori. Hello, Lori.
Hi. I wanted to just share a little bit about what I heard today. I live in Abbotsford, and you all know it's been pretty wet out here. So my area is fine, but one of my colleagues lives in Chilliwack. So she's been stranded there basically for the last over a week. And she hasn't been able to get to work here in Abbotsford. But today when we were chatting, she told me her son-in-law has a fishing boat that he runs in the summer. And him and his wife were just sitting down and like, hey, we have a boat. I wonder if we can do anything with the boat. And so he put the boat up on Instagram on his page and just said, hey, I've got this boat if anybody needs help with something. And he's been run off his feet for the last 5 days. So he's actually taking his boat back and forth from Chilliwack across the Fraser River to Mission, and taking some nurses back and forth to work, but also collecting a lot of donated goods. So people are coming in from Maple Ridge, like all over the place, and bringing stuff to the port in Mission, and he's ferrying it across the river to people in Chilliwack. And then she said actually he had to get, I think there's a couple breweries in Chilliwack, and he asked them if they would please take some of the items, like, so everything from diapers to food to gasoline, even for his boat, take some of this stuff out to Yarrow and Hope and stuff where people really, really need it. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Lori, thank you so much for sharing. That is awesome news.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. That is a heart expansion moment right there. Thank you. Angie.
Hello, everyone. It's my first day, my first time here
Yay.
on this call. So I'm super excited, and I am so looking forward to continuing on and getting to know everyone and just putting my creative juices to work. But what I wanted to share tonight, as I was listening to you, Karen, about fake news and all of that, and also Dwayne and sorry, I forget your name.
Norma Jean.
Thank you. Yes. In our meditation, we do a meditation every Tuesday night, and one of the instructions, one of the affirmations is, where your attention is, that's what you create. And what you meditate upon is what you become. So going back to what you were saying again, Karen, about the fake news and this make-believe reality that they're forcing upon us to believe through the fake media. And please turn your TVs off if you already haven't, because that's exactly what's happening. we really need to focus on our reality. So what we want to create, what we want to believe. And if we start visualizing this beautiful golden age being ushered in, life force is a major part of it, and other constructive people in the world that are putting their beautiful energies together in order to bring back like the harmony, the joy, and the love with each other, with communities. Well, starting with family and then going into community and going into national and globally. So we just need to start visualizing and visualizing this beautiful world that we want to create. The visualization will come so fast. It will become a reality so fast that I can just taste it, I can see it. And like you said, and like in the video, we have already won. Yes, and I believe that 100%, 1000%. And with that, I yield and I thank you.
Wonderful share. Thank you so much for being here. And you're so right. We are the power. We hold the power in creating and manifesting that beautiful future. And we're all doing this together. So thank you again for that. Okay, Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. It's my first time being on here presently, or in person, as much as you can be in person. I've in the past just listened in, so I'm really happy to be here and share a little bit about what I've experienced this last week, and that's I've seen more faces and less masks in stores. And I don't know if just where I live in Calgary that I always felt quite alone when I'd go into retailers, or that, you know, and I bring my young kids with me, and you know, people stare and whatnot. And just lately, I've noticed a lot more people not wearing their masks, and it feels really good to see that. And also just people, even when they see that there's someone not wearing a mask, that they tend to, you know, bring it down. It's like, oh, I can do this. And so even just people feeling like they have permission now, like the more they see people that are taking a stand and not wearing these, I like to call them breath diapers. I just, it feels really good, because for a long time I felt alone and I felt targeted by stares, like people staring. And of course, just people are being asked to wear a mask. And I find that too, when I go into retailers, people have backed down with kind of chasing after you and you know, asking where your mask is. And yeah, I've noticed that lately, and in odd places too, Canadian Tire and Walmart. And I think even Canadian Tire is getting quite a bad rap up in Edmonton. In particular, I noticed a lot of comments about people being escorted out or just chased down, and it just broke my heart. But yeah, I just feel like that's coming around. It's nice to have that visual again of people finding that normality. So that's what I want to share.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I am so looking for the day when I start seeing that. Usually I'm the only one in the store without the mask on.
And I'm like, it's so nice to see your face, and I love your teeth.
Yes.
Because it's so nice. So yeah, I think it's important to encourage. And there's been times where I think there's some people that are kind of doing it, like they're taking a stance, but then they're looking at people that are masked negatively. And I think it's an opportunity for us to just educate as well, and encourage people to just not be judgmental, but be supportive of one another. And if they are wearing a mask, then obviously they feel like that's what's best for them, or that they don't have a choice. So it's an opportunity for us to educate and just support people and let them know that it's okay. And yeah, so yeah,
You have a
that's it.
beautiful heart, Amanda.
Thank you.
So much. And
Thank you.
Norma Jean, after Melissa, I'd love for you to share your Safeway story today. Melissa.
Hello, everybody. Today, I took action, and I was in the process for a really long time of sending out my notices of liability, and I had quite a few of them to mail out by registered mail. So I had about 16 people that I had to notify. So it was like my kids' teacher, principal, some members of the school board, and my work, because they put me on a leave of absence because I wouldn't disclose my status. So it was a good day, and then I had to go to the mall. So I went to Square One, and this has been like, I don't know, probably my fourth time that I've gone to buy food. And then I go into, the seating area, and they ask me about, the pass. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm exempt. I just always say I'm exempt. They never say anything. I go in, I sit down, and I was able to eat my food unencumbered. So, just like everybody else. We can't tolerate being classified as a second class citizen. So I forgot her name. She was just talking about not wearing a mask. It's been like 2 years now that I have not been wearing my mask. And yeah, so I continued to just disregard all the nonsensical rules, and I just won't obey them. And I really don't care what other people think about me. I just am my own little world every time I go out. So it never really bothers me what people are thinking. So thank you.
That's awesome, Melissa. And I would say that you are in your very big world. You're in the world of freedom when you're not wearing that mask, and you're showcasing the incredible potential and possibility that's here for everyone. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
That's true leadership right there, right? And the more we say no to wearing that mask, we are empowering ourselves, and we're creating that breakthrough for humanity. So thank you, Melissa, for sharing all of that. Love your fire.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to say one more thing. I was just sitting there and eating and just watching the people just take out their little phones and show the security guard like their little, documents. And I'm like, you don't even have to do that, because this is so unlawful. Like, nobody has to do that. Like, I was able just to walk in. I said hello. I was polite, and they can't do anything to you. It's like these people make their own little prisons. Like, this is what they do. They give away their power and authority. It's sad to see, but
You're so right. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being here.
thank you too.
And Norma Jean.
Yes, I had some fun today at Safeway. I haven't worn a mask for a really long time, and I never even think about it. I just walk in and own the place, and people respond really well. I have yet to have anybody say anything negative to me at all. I just walk around smiling. And anyways, today I was shopping for some food, and I came across these 4 young guys, I don't know, 18 to maybe 21. And they all had their masks down like below their nose, and they're waiting for something from the deli. And I just walked up to them. I said, just take it off. And they looked at me, and I go, just take it off. You got it below your nose anyways, just take it off. And of course, I'm not wearing one. And so they're all like looking at each other. They kind of pull them down and give me a little grin, but it's like, why am I the only one in this place that's not wearing a mask? Come on, people. Anyways, it was pretty funny. And this is what we need, is the kids that age to wake up, right? They're the ones that need to join our forces. So Yeah, it was good.
I love it. Thank you, Norma Jean. Okay, well, I have some great news. I did send out the email in regards to the Happy Body Summit, and I was invited by Kendra to be one of the speakers. So I'm going to be speaking tomorrow at 1 p.m. For those of you who have registered, it is free to register. And I'm going to be speaking about living in the freedom frequency of life so that we do reclaim our power and can rise up into the higher levels of consciousness, which is love for all. James, thank you.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. Hi, everybody. So I want to share just a nice feel-good story from last week. So I walk into my health food store, which I walk into regularly with no mask. And the funny thing was, I walk in, and within about 15 feet, 3 other people without wearing masks converged into one little circle. I'm like, hey. And like, yeah, we're all awake. What a concept. So, which is really great. But I shared to them, I said, have you heard the great news? And they said, what? Well, there's this Plant Council Ontario, there's this Life Force Canada. It's really starting to take off. Here's my contact information. I'm going to just send me an email and I'll let you know about the details of it. But the hope that comes in people's eyes, like, wow, there's a movement happening that's like looking to not fight the old, but transcend and create a new system. Like, it's just like hearts opened up and eyes like, wow, I didn't know. Thank you. Just knowing that gave people like this sparkle in their eye and a smile on their face. So that's just what I feel like sharing at this moment in time. And it's how it's presented. So I'm very passionate when I talk about it, and I make sure my passion is contagious. And I'm not sure if many people know one of the roots of the word passion, it's pass ion. So you're passing ions. So that's what passion comes from. So I made sure I was broadcasting it very potently. And so they sent emails, and I just sent this, I had this pre-made email that I send out to people who I just happen to talk about it. I introduced Life Force Global, Canada, Plant Council Ontario. The great news, I said, feel it if you want, but you know what, great things are happening and you just gotta know. So I just spread that great news, and it's contagious.
James,
with that, I yield.
You are ignited. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yay. Marie.
Hello, how's everyone this evening? I just wanted to share a fun thing that happened. It didn't actually happen to me, but I just think it's an awesome thing. So one of my friends, she was shopping in a store, maskless. I have to admit that I'm still really nervous about doing that. But anyway, so she was shopping in the store, maskless, and a couple other friends happened to meet up with her in the store. So it was kind of like bizarre because there were 3 of them in the same store at the same time without masks. And so they were all doing their own shopping. And all of a sudden, this little lady that was like maybe in her 70s, she walked up to my friend and she said, excuse me, but do people bother you when you're not wearing a mask? And she said, no, they don't really bother me. And she said, I really don't want to wear this mask. And so my friend said, so just take it off. And she said, really? And she said, yeah, just take it off. So the little lady pulled down her mask, and then she goes, that's my husband over there. So all of a sudden her husband joined them, and he's like, I don't wear this mask. And he pissed off. And so I'll bring into the stores myself without them. And so to just meet up and not to go in on masks, but like to have people in different parts of the store just sort of supporting each other, that you can do this. And so we're actually calling it Remove the Mask Movement, and not as a forceful thing, but as a support sort of thing, in that there's more of us in that place without a mask. And the intent is, if we can grow the number of people that go into these places without masks, then people will just take them off. So I just thought it was an amazing idea. And so I wanted to share that because other people might feel empowered by that. I know I personally felt empowered by that. And yeah, so that was one great story. And if it's okay, I'll share another really neat story. Absolutely. So I happened to go to the Rebel News held like a speakers event in Whitby, Ontario this past week. And I got to see Dr. Julie Ponesse in person, who is the professor who was released from Western University, who lost her job. And if anybody wants to hear someone speak on ethics and, you know, the need for all of us to stand in our sovereignty and to do what Dr. Ponesse has done, it was just a most amazing feeling to walk into this building, though, with over 400 people all standing in their sovereignty, all in the same place, for the most part maskless, and you know, and then to listen to these empowering speakers. And the second speaker was John Stossel, who's a libertarian from the USA. And it was interesting because, you know, he didn't necessarily agree with not taking the vaccine. So although that tended to surprise people, the host showed such grace and unity in how he dealt with that speaker, in challenging the speaker to look further into the science, but to come back to him. And he unified their friendship without offending him. And I just thought it was the most amazing demonstration of grace and unity that I think we all need to demonstrate right now. So it was an amazing takeaway. It was a great evening to be with that many people in one place, and just hoping that other people can, you know, leverage that type of event. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Marie. Great stories. Oh my gosh, I love it. And yes, we do need more people going into the stores together and showing, you know, what's possible. And again, right, it's what Amanda said, we need to be educating people. And even just not wearing the mask is education. And so, Maria, thank you so much for that. Dorothy, hello.
A couple of quick stories. I shop at Superstore usually because it's cheap, cheaper. Everything's relative these days. I find I'm seeing more people with masks, without masks, sorry. And the people without, they turn around and they look at you as you go by, and they have these big grins on their faces, like we have this special secret. Anyway, it's nice to see, and we usually end up having a quick conversation, which is nice. There's more and more people all the time. A friend of mine has a little pet boutique, and that's where I buy my dog food. I was in the other day, and she started talking about going into our health food store is called Life Force.
Yeah, great.
Life Force Herbal.
Love it.
Anyway, she said, I wasn't sure. I said, oh, they don't wear masks in there. So she went in, she looked around, there was no one with a mask on, she rips her mask off. Anyway, I had to go in after on my way home. So I shared the story with them, and they said, yeah, like nobody here wears a mask. So they know they're helping expand, you know, the freedom a little bit for customers coming in. Some people still wear masks in the store, but it's nice to see that most of the places I shop don't give anybody a hard time. And I think if you're polite and as one lady mentioned a little while ago, just walk in like you own the place and smile, and people are happy to see the smiles. So I yield.
Thank you, Dorothy. You're so right. Most of the stores, everyone that's in the stores, they don't really care. Safeway, everyone's friendly and kind. Superstore is mentioned, Sobeys. Yeah, it's very different this past year, 100%. Thank you, Dorothy. Marjorie.
Hi, Karen. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to tell you about an experience I had. I don't normally wear a mask, except you have to go to the hospital or something like that. And I walked into a store and one of the employees stepped right in front of me and he said, "You have to wear a mask." And I said, "No, I don't." And I stepped around him and started to walk down the aisle, and he followed me down the aisle. He grabbed my arm and turned me around. He said, "You have to wear a mask." And I took one step towards him and looked him right in the eye, which is kind of difficult because he was about a foot taller than me. And I said, "No, I don't." And I waited for him to say something, and he just hung his head, turned around, and walked away from me. So that gave me a feeling of empowerment. But if you stand up for your rights, they don't know what to do. And that's the easiest way to get around wearing a mask, I think. And with that, I yield.
Stand up for your rights. That's what it's all about. I love it. Thank you. Rita.
I just wanted to share that this past Friday in Medicine Hat, we had a fantastic rally of over 800 people. It was the Alberta Unity Project. Great crowd of people. We had it in a riding arena, and the arena was donated, and it was amazing to see all the beautiful faces and the smiles, and just like everybody was old friends, even if they didn't know anybody else. The smiles, they just became instant friends. It was great. And I yield.
Thank you, Rita. That is a very special moment. I love it. Thank you for sharing that story. Simon, hello, Simon.
Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone. So I have a story that also takes place, actually, a couple stories that take place at a health food store. So the health food store that I go to usually with my daughter after school, most of the people there wear masks. But anytime someone doesn't, I make it a point to start a conversation with them or make eye contact, and just there's this natural energy that I'm sure most of you have experienced. And at one point there was a guy who looked at me, he's like, fellow freedom fighter, and he comes up to me and we just shake hands and kind of hug each other a little bit and start chatting away. My daughter's always with me, so she gets to experience these moments. And it was just this great connection, and we're loud, so it's not like we're keeping it quiet or anything, so people around us can hear. And then as we're checking out, he's in the line in front of me, and I guess he makes eye contact with a person who is kind of staring him down, this older gentleman, of course wearing a mask, really covering his face. And the older gentleman talks to the cashier and points at the guy not wearing a mask. His name's John. We actually message each other. And he's like, is he allowed to do that? And John immediately responds with, well, is he allowed to do that? Is he allowed to wear that mask? Is he supposed to do that? And then me in the line with my daughter, neither one of us are wearing masks. He hasn't seen us yet. I'm like, guys, let's just calm down. And then he looked at me. He's like, oh, you too? And then he just got frustrated and flustered and walked away. And then the whole store, there was this energy of like, I don't know, it was great for other people to experience that as well. But every time I walk into that store, I see at least one other person not wearing a mask or somebody wearing it like on their chin.
Yeah.
And always try to start a conversation. There was the only time I've seen a parent there with a child without a mask, and the parent also without a mask, was a really great moment too. So I started a conversation immediately with the mom, and commend her. And like the energy is awesome because Annabelle loves seeing other kids not wearing masks. So there was this instant connection, and we start talking, and it turns out she's one of the parents that's already reached out to me about the school. So it's a small world. People are constantly connecting. More and more people are following their instinct and taking off the mask, and you see it too. If you're not wearing a mask, other people who kind of have the mask on tend to take it off. So another time in another store, same type of thing, right? They see you not wearing a mask. They've got their mask fully on. They're like, why am I wearing a mask if he's not wearing a mask? So I think it's important to start these conversations to be not loud and obnoxious, but just be open and confident and let people know how you feel. If you feel confident enough to say things and talk to cashiers. And it turns out that the owner of the health store that I go to, again, they never question anybody, is also someone who's interested in finding a place for her children. So I think when it comes to especially parents, people are just looking for a way out. So it's just inevitable. Like that video is really powerful because the good guys win. And with that, I yield.
Beautiful, Simon. Great advice. Yes, the good guys have already won. I love it. And great stories, Simon. Thank you so much for all you do. Trevor.
Now, I don't know if this is much of a little story, but just at my work, I've been noticing how my coworkers are seemingly becoming less fearful and less, obedient necessarily about, all the narrative, so to speak. Like a coworker was walking by today, and she's shared with me that she got the vax, and I just on inspiration, I just stopped her and I said, I pulled out of my pack because I happened to bring it with me today. I showed her the Nosoma product, the one that I shared with her, that it helps heal the DNA damage, and she didn't doubt it for a second. Like she just said, "Yeah, I'm taking a picture of that." And so I was like, "Yes, that's exactly the reaction I was hoping for." That some of these people, when you work with people for years, they become your second family, right? You want to protect them. And I'm so glad to see some of my coworkers starting to absorb some of that resources that are designed to support us through this. These things are coming out at the perfect time. Anyway, with that, I yield.
Thank you, Trevor. That's so refreshing to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Mark.
I would like to share an amusing story that highlights some of the hypocrisy of this pandemic. So I had a friend who was visiting me this past summer from Europe. And when it was time for them to return home, I did a lot of research. I called the airline several times, and I also wrote them. And I called the airport to find out what was required for the flight. The first leg of the flight was from Toronto to Istanbul. And then they were transiting to a second country. And the airline was Turkish Airlines. So my friend was prepared to get a test if it was required. But after doing all my research, I learned that if you were transiting on the flight, you didn't need to have a PCR test done. So get this ridiculous hypocrisy. You have all of these passengers packed into the same plane, some staying in Istanbul, some transiting. Those that are staying in Istanbul needed to have a PCR test before they could fly. And those that were transiting didn't need a test. That's my amusing story. Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh. You just can't make this stuff up, right?
No.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, right? They just keep creating the craziness and people are believing it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mark.
You're welcome.
Tanis.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I think what I just wanted to share was more of a broader sense of good news, because I think like a lot of us that went through the rabbit holes in 2020, you kind of have a sense of helplessness and maybe overwhelmingness of what's going on in the world. And so my feel good story is basically finding people in my town, my area, in my province, in my nation of Canada, of finding people that think the same way as I do, that are heart, I don't know, just like they're full, they come from the heart and not from the ego. And we're all here to do great things, and we're here to encourage and support each other. And that is what I think what we all need from each other. And I'm just so grateful for all of you. Okay. And yeah, and I'm also grateful for tomorrow. We're going to be doing I'll be on the summit calls tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, so that's amazing. And I'm also grateful for Sherry Strong's Wednesday night calls too. Those are amazing as well. The Building Immunity course. And my final thing is that went out of my comfort zone, and I'm actually going to be doing a market for my homemade products and doing card readings and stuff like that in Whitecourt here. So anybody in the area, come by, check it out. It's on December 4th. So anyways, thank you guys very much for who you are.
Thank you so much, Tanis. Just love everything that you stand for and all of your assistance and the time that you put in volunteering on everything here. So thank you so much, Tanis. We all appreciate you as well. And Lisa, your good news story is coming here tonight, hearing all the good news. Yay, Lisa, thank you. Dwayne or Norma?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to come back and talk about the gathering that Karen hosted on Saturday night. We had 33 freedom lovers at the party, and a lot of familiar faces here on the call tonight. And it was just a great evening of like-minded people coming together, and a lot of new faces come to just get that connection, get that hug, and be able to be with like-minded people. Because there's a lot of people out there that are still so very isolated. They are just islands unto themselves. And what Karen is doing every month and hosting these amazing gatherings of Life Force people and others to come together and unite and breathe in that Life Force energy. So it was an awesome evening of great food and drink and company and lots of hugs. Yes, lots of hugs. And an entire room of, it was an illegal gathering. It was awesome.
Actually, hang on. I just wanted to add something too that Mark made me think of. Last year, I was in a grade 2-3 class, and we had a COVID case of one of the students, and the kids were sitting at long tables, maybe 4 or 5 kids to a table. And so the table that child was sitting at, those 5 kids all had to self-isolate for 2 weeks, but the rest of us were fine to come to class, which is hilarious because kids that are 7 and 8, they don't just sit at a table all day. They sit beside each other on the carpet, they're in line, they do gym, they play outside. If those 5 were exposed, we all were exposed. So it was just sort of like, wow, they've changed the rules again. It's just so ridiculous. But anyways, just reaffirms how ridiculous this all is. But anyways, it was funny.
Thank you, Norma Jean. And thank you, Dwayne. Yes, Saturday night was incredible. And quite a few new people are joining Life Force Canada. And I had everybody move into dyad and partners, and they all shared my peaceful non-compliant script. It was an awesome evening. And yeah, Sandra spoke and shared, and she really ignited quite a few people to join too. So thank you again, Sandra. And Norma Jean was there sharing about the education portal. And, you know, we're putting out for people to become sponsors who are parents or teachers who are really wanting to step out of the corrupt school system that, you know, that the kids are in right now, and to really support a whole new system. And yeah, it was just an incredible evening. Dolores, hello.
Well, I'm in Quebec here in the boonies, so I'll call it the boonies, in the Laurentians. I went to emergency. I have a mask story, but I'm not up to the no mask. I'm up to the what kind of mask level here. We're too little behind here in Quebec. So I'm in emergency. So I do have my own mask, which is cotton, and I wash it and I put essentials oils on it each time I use it. So it's not, doesn't have anything in it that can hurt me. So I get the X-ray tech before my X-ray, and I'm in pain at this point too. That's why I'm in emergency. She hands me a box. She shows me a box of those blue masks, and says, "Oh, you can't wear that. You have your own mask. You have to wear our mask. You have to wear this kind of mask." Because other places have told me that too, and I just keep wearing my own. And this time I said to her, "No, I don't. Why do I have to wear that? I have a mask." And I'm, "Oh, but you have to." And she's insisting. And here I'm in pain. She's an X-ray tech, and she doesn't care about the pain. She's caring about what kind of mask I'm wearing. So I go, you know, I kept my cool, which normally I end up sounding like a Nazi to them. And then they get scared and say, "Don't yell at me." But anyway, so anyway, I said, "I'm sovereign. I don't have to wear that mask." And she didn't know what to make of it. And I said, "Are you going to take my X-ray now?" And then she was okay. She took a deep breath and she cooled her jets. Okay. And then she took my X-rays, but I kept my own mask on. So that's as far as we go here now. They insist on the blue mask. So and I said to, you know, that there's fibers in there. And she said, "I don't want to hear what you have to say." That's what she said to me. "I don't need you to tell me anything." Right. And then she let me alone, but they don't even want to hear at this stage here. That's how backwards they are. Anyway, what I've been doing though for Life Force and for Kim Gauguin for about a year or so, since I've known about her before I joined anything, when I'm on a lot of these YouTube channels, I go to a lot of them. That's a lot of and I'm watching them, but when I watch them, I'm measuring things. And a lot of these so-called YouTubers that are on the good side, they're not. I catch them in things and I challenge them. I put stuff in there about that if they want real freedom, they have to look up Life Force, Global Restoration Plan, and so on, and sometimes even leave a link even if they take it off. And I've been doing that for about a year, or every time I'm on. And if I see somebody and anyone that talks bad about her, because they have in a few, boy, did I ever stick up for her on there. And I told them, I really told them, and get what happens weird that I don't know who's doing it. I don't know if it's some artificial intelligence that's fighting with the other artificial intelligence, but a lot of my comments are highlighted. After I go back, they're highlighted. So they're put on the top, and the owner of the channel didn't like it. So I don't know who's highlighting them, because it's only supposed to be the owner of the channel. So, but anyway, I do that and I still do it. So that's my story. I've been doing that for a while now. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dolores. Thank you for sharing Life Force. I love it. Linda Irwin, you have an awesome story to share.
Hi.
Hi, Linda.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I sold my house today.
Yay!
What a relief after 3 weeks, well, close to a month of renos and spending a bunch of money fixing it up and cleaning it up after having renters in there for 4 years. And it sold in less than 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is so great.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I got a new painting I finished if you want to look.
Oh my gosh. Linda is an extraordinary painter. And how long ago did you start painting? How many years ago?
26.
She just started painting in 2016.
It's a dog portrait.
That is amazing. Your talent is exceptional.
Thank you.
Thank you
This
so
is a
much.
good one. I'm happy with this one.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Linda.
You're welcome.
Alan or Bettina?
Yeah, everyone, I was a safety officer and gas plant operator for many, many years. And if you're in a hazardous environment, you have to have a full face mask, and basically it has to be sealed. We have smoke put all the way around the mask to see whether you're sealed or not. And all these masks that they're handing out, the cotton and all this stuff, they might be good for 10 microns, and basically the viruses are 5, so none of them really work and they don't seal. So it's just totally laughable right from the start. I have not worn a mask at all. I did a window washing job in Red Deer here with my boss a couple weeks ago, and he almost fell off the ladder because he's working so hard with his mask, I guess. And I just told him, I says, if it's unsafe, so he took the mask off, and everybody's kind of fed up with the whole thing. Half the people in the dealership were having the mask just below their nose anyway. So that's my 2 cents on it. If you, and also, as I said, you wear the mask in the lower and you want to faint or whatever, your oxygen content's around 19.5%. And in a gas plant, of course, you have one full air at 19.5. So I don't really see the purpose of the whole thing, So that's my opinion, and I yield with that, I guess. So
I'd like to say something.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel very, very blessed because I got a job in July, and the people that I work for have received all 3 of the vaccines, and they know that I haven't gotten it, and they're okay with that. That I find that that's really incredible. Thank you.
That is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my gosh. And you're absolutely right, Alan. The only reason why we have masks is because it's part of a satanic ritual. And it's the only reason. There's no other reason for it. We've never needed it. So, but yeah, thank you for sharing.
Well, I've even, even I was wearing it for part of the time, and I just didn't feel good at all. So I took it off. I says, well, you scrubbed some windows, or let's see you run down the street there for about 5 blocks and see whether you're even breathing with one of these things on.
Exactly.
And of course, what are they going to say? Yeah. Anyways, that's good. So I yield.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone, for your positive, feel-good news stories. We so needed that this evening. And I'm grateful for all of you. And for those who need to leave, thank you so much for being here. And for all of you in Alberta, I'll see you tomorrow night on the Plan Council Alberta call. And look forward to seeing you all on the think tanks as well this week. If you have yet to be on one, please join, listen in. We do need your solutions, your skill sets, etc. We'll move into a meditation now. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Okay, so for those of you staying to meditate, make sure your feet are on the floor. And we're going to be focusing on letting go and releasing any disharmony and moving into creating that beautiful reality that we are searching for. Okay, so close your eyes, focusing on your breath. And just breathing in to the count of 5 and breathing out to the count of 5. And you're just allowing yourself to let go of yesterday, let go of tomorrow. Allow yourself to be fully present. And as you breathe, just place your intention and your focus on your heart space. And as you're breathing in that life force energy through your nostrils and into your brain and then down into your body, filling up your cells. Just breathe in that life force energy, moving that energy all the way down into your belly, your hips, down into your legs, and just that incredible energies moving down and exiting out the bottoms of your feet and into Mother Earth. And just know that you are flowing energy through you. You are here on this earth to flow energy through your physical body. And as you're breathing, even if you're not able to imagine it, just place your intention on the idea that you're flushing your energy field with sunlight. So you're breathing in that golden light and allowing that light to go through again, through your cells and your atoms, your DNA, allowing that light, that golden light, to move through your energy centers. And just notice how you feel as you're flushing your physical body, mental body, emotional body, etheric body with this beautiful light. And so I'm just going to call in a tool called the Rings of Harmony around you. And it's okay if you're not able to visualize them, they're there. It's a set of rings encoded, and they will start to release old patterns that are not beneficial to you. And these rings of light are beautiful, energetic rings of the highest frequency of love. And you're now releasing old beliefs and old stuck energy. And as your higher self works with these amazing rings of harmony, you're going to say to yourself, I'm now clearing all disharmony around relationships. And keep focusing on your breath. I am now clearing all disharmony around prosperity. I'm now clearing all disharmony around health. I'm now clearing all disharmony around my family and choose to feel accepted, appreciated. I'm now clearing all disharmony around my future and feel only freedom when I think of what is ahead of me. I'm now clearing all disharmony in my neighborhood and choose to send them love. I am harmonizing my energetic field. I am vibrating harmony. I am harmony. And now once again, bring your attention back to your heart space and just see yourself in a white room. And this white room symbolizes your divine mind, the divine mind of your heart. Your heart is very intelligent. And just allow yourself to stand in this room and allow your heart to show you images, to show you the truth of your reality. Just be open to seeing the images, allowing your imagination to show you what you're ready to see. And if you're not able to see anything, that is okay. Just you standing in this room empowers you and harmonizes you in so many beautiful ways. So I'm just going to give you a few moments here, just focusing on your breath. Focusing on your breath. On the count of 3, you can open your eyes. So 1, bring yourself back to the room that you're in. And 2, bring yourself back into your body. And 3, open your eyes. Beautiful, everyone. Thank you for being here, shining your light into the world. You are so loved and appreciated. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Night, Karen. Love you.
I love you. Thank you.